We're just chatting.
Yes, I mean, because what's really cool is, okay, so, what, 9-10 years ago, we had a call from Limato, and she's told me, she's like, hey, I want you to come to this meeting. And I'm like, what meeting is this? And she said, well, it's for the Women's Council of Realtors. I'm like, well, I don't want to go. And she's like, well, you need to go. And I'm like, well, why would I go? And she said, because you can make a difference. I'm like, well, why would I make a difference in the Women's Council of Realtors when I'm a guy and I'm a lender? And she said, well, just go to this meeting. So I went, and it was kind of cool, you know. Of course, I didn't know, you know, what to expect, and I got to meet some phenomenal people. Of course, you know, Brenda, Robin, and Katie Weaver, and you know, Lori Jagloy, and I mean, all the rock stars of our industry, and of course, the great leaders. So I thought it was really cool, and they were really nice to me, and I was like, okay, well, where's my business, you know, because isn't this why I'm here, is to get business? And so then shortly thereafter, Lynn said, hey, I think you should run and be on the board. I'm like, well, why would I be on the board? You know, I really didn't understand, and I, you know, as a lender, you know, we're taught one thing, but I didn't really understand. And then what was really neat was, after being voluntold, and then I called Lori, and Lori's like, I think you really should. After being a part of the organization, it became being a part of the family. And here now I'm on the board, and I'm a treasurer, and of course, you know, there is work involved, but what was incredible was I got the opportunity to get to know everybody in a hey, will you send me business, but more, look how much I can learn. And then as I traveled with the Women's Council and I got to be at different events, there's so many different leadership breakout sessions, as you see when you go, that most people don't get. They just think they go to these events and then that's it. They spend an hour and maybe they'll get some business and walk away. But what's really neat is over the last decade of being a part of the family with the Women's Council, I've made friends with people all over the country that I'm still friends with from different networks. Throughout the country with Women's Council. We do business together as well because they saw that I was a part of the family. And it was just so neat that I went in, one, because I was told to, and I was, you know, and I respected those who told me, but then I figured I'd get one thing out of it, maybe business, but what I found out is I got a life out of it. I learned leadership, I learned friendship. You know, still some of my greatest friends are because of Women's Council, our time together. I love that. Yeah. And the one thing I want everybody to understand is that sometimes we get involved in something for one reason, but if it's the right place and the right family, you end up getting so many other reasons out of it. Well, so as we sit here today,
it's the environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are all like special, unique flowers, and whenever we're put in the right environment, with love and all the sunshine, and we get the love water down on us, I really feel like that's how we bloom.
So true.
And I mean, I don't know if you know, whenever I came in on the board, it was a kind of an SOS. It was right as Mary Rose had fallen, and they needed somebody like that day. And Jamie had kind of talked to me about potentially helping out, you know, the following year. And when Franny called and said, like, we need you sooner, like now.
Yeah.
And Mary Rose, gosh, whenever I met her at the axe throwing just a few months before, she was she is a firecracker. What she has overcome, I do think that it is absolutely her attitude that pushed her through. And a lot of what she has said is, you know, kind of kept her mindset right, is her Women's Council friends. So not only is it, like you said, it's not only about the business aspect, it really is about the friendship aspect of Women's Council. And I'll say, like, being able to go to some of these national events and the fast friends that you make.
Yeah.
There was a woman, her name was Carol, and I met her for a minute and a half of my life, right? And she changed it in that minute and a half. I was sitting there, I was about to put on these, god-awful uncomfortable loafers and taking off my Nikes, and she looked at me and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm putting my business shoes on." She goes, weren't you just on the phone doing business in those shoes you have on? And I said, well, yeah, but these are my business shoes. She goes, no, the shoes that you wear to do business in are the shoes, those are your business shoes, And she told me that if people didn't want to work with me in my Nikes, then why would I want to work with them if they won't accept me for who I am? And I will tell you, I might have less business, but I'm going to have a whole lot more fulfilling business by doing it that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, that was a minute and a half. Carol, if you, by some miracle, are watching this, thank you so much for changing my life in that minute and a half and changing my perspective. And
there's so many takeaways from the Women's Council. I mean, Sam Powell's coming up.
I know, I'm so excited.
And I know Sam, I like to consider her a friend. I've been all over the country where she's been, and we've shared cocktails together, and she's just the most dynamic person. And yet she's taught so much. And what's really neat about the Women's Council of Realtors, just, with the guidance that they've given me, even Brenda and Robin, they've taken me under their wings, like, no, sweetie, let's do this, or you know what, do this. And what's really amazing is that has resulted into my coaching women's hockey, to raising a beautiful daughter, and also my relationship with my wife, because we were married while I was traveling with these women, and yet my wife knew them and just had nothing but respect for them. And so I'd like to think that everybody in the Women's Council of Realtors somehow allowed me to advance enough to where, 5 years ago we opened our own company, and knowing that I had the support of my friends and the guidance. So I always tell people, get involved.
Yeah.
Be a strategic partner. It's not about giving the money, here, I paid my money. No, really what it is pay your time. Be at the events. Be a part of the lunches. Be a member. Be a family member of the Women's Council of Realtors, and you will get so much out of it. And that's what I love. And for us to be able to sit here today, so many people know my love for Women's Council, but to be able to share this with you, it's just fantastic. So thank you so much.
Well,
and I hope that people get this message and they get involved and they realize that great things come out of the Women's Council of Realtors.
I think so. Whenever I came into this group, I hadn't always had the greatest experiences with other women and professionals. And whenever I tell you this was like a different group of people, like a lot of times you're in a circle, and I feel like Women's Council is really like the horseshoe. Like they leave space for people to come in and become part of them. If they see you walk into a room and there is an open seat at a table, they will pull you to sit down. It does not matter if you are a Women's Council member or not. They just want everyone to feel included. And I feel like that is this, special sauce.
It really is.
Women's Council is that we just bring people in, and as you said, we make them family. So thank you for being family.
Thank you, buddy. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the greatest thing about Women's Council is I remember a long time ago someone said, well, why would I go? It's just a bunch of the same people all competing in the same circle. Why would we go? And I said, that's what you're missing. When you get together, you can actually collaborate, not compete. Don't look at them as your competition. Look at them as your collaboration. And then what I've noticed over the decade is that people see the WCR, Women's Council of Realtors, the WCR logo on somebody else's, and they said, you know what, that is somebody I want to reach out to. That might be a listing that I accept, or that's somebody that we can collaborate and work with because of the logo, the WCR. Not, oh, they're my competition. Like, no, they're a part of our family. Let's refer them out to Chicago. That's the beauty of the Women's Council of Realtors website as well. And that's, hey, look, I found someone in San Diego to help my family member, and they're a Women's Council member. Let's refer to them. So there's so much great positivity in being a family member of the Women's Council.
Well, and I mean, our referral network is huge across the country, but also even the benefit of working with our local Women's Council members.
True.
Can I tell you a story about Kelly Dix and how amazing she is?
Kelly.
She is so sweet. We were up in Grand Rapids. We managed to get a very far apart deal put together at the table, which was much easier because we were sitting there communicating and communicating with our clients right then. She was going back home the next day, but knew I was staying up for Mar. This sweet woman, I love her so much. She actually wrote the offer, told me double check it, make sure everything's good. I just use the same thing in the same PA that you had before with the new information on it, and actually wrote the offer, and I just had to put in my client's signatures.
Yeah.
How many people from any other networking group, let's be real, y'all, nobody would do that for you. So, I mean, all the reasons, there's so many reasons. I mean...
Oh, absolutely. It's endless in reality. I mean, I'm talking lenders. I have great lender relationships because we're a part of the Women's Council. We know that we support the same family. And, you know, I can go down and I know over the last decade how many great friendships, whether it be title, whether it be inspectors, whether it be, you know, other lenders, we all are working together to serve the Women's Council family, which technically is all designed to serve the community.
It is.
So no matter what part you play in the Women's Council, whether it be a strategic partner, whether it just be a board member, whether it be this or this or this, we're all working together to serve the community that we all live in. And the power just gets amplified over and over, and that's what I love about Women's Council.
Well, whenever we say leaders are made here, we don't just mean women. We don't just mean realtors. We mean leaders, men, women, lenders, all of our strategic partners. That leadership training really does extend out into our communities to help grow and direct our communities in the right direction.
It really does. And you know, you met Claire at my office. She's 24 years old. She is one of our future leaders, and she and Nina will both be brought into the Women's Council of Realtors, and they hopefully will take that same role that we have as being part of the board, being board members, and not just being a donator, not just being a member, but being part of the leadership, because there's so much to learn just by being at the table.
So what you're saying is, don't just pay your dues, pay your dues.
Good one.
There you
go.
So if you would like more information on becoming a member or strategic partner for Women's Council, you can always reach out to myself, any of our strategic partners like Dante, or any of our border members. We're all happy to share all the wonderful things about Women's Council with you. Thank you.